At the moment, our project has 5 columns with different information. So we have the name of the item here, we have the sub-item, we have person or team member, we have status, and we have a date, due date. Let's explore the basics of columns and how you can add new columns. There are a few options here. Let's go to the person column and click on the menu here. You need to find this triangle pointing down. The first one is the column settings, and you can see, so you can actually limit how many people you can assign here. And at the moment it's going to be unlimited, which means that I can add multiple people to the same task. For example, I now have my name and also Peter on the same task. Another thing that you can do is, if you don't like the title, you can change it from edit title. For example, I'll change this to owner. You can also add description to the column if you want. You can resize the column, so you just move this and make it bigger. And you can have some other options such as sorting, dragging the column, so you can actually move this around. So for example, I can move it before the sub items if I want it. You can also collapse the column. So if you have a column that you don't really want to see, you can duplicate the column. You can actually put some permissions and restrict who can actually view the column, which can be quite useful if you have some sensitive information. And you can put a specific name on the person who can actually view the column. This is a great feature of Monday.com. And let me just remove the restrictions now. And you can have the usual change column type to text to long text. You can add a new column here to the right, or you can delete the column itself. And these are the main options that you have on the columns. Now, at the moment, we have just basic information about our tasks or items. For example, here's the status. From here, you can change it. So for example, at the moment, let's say this is already done. Let's say you're working on the proof of business case, or you can even change it to stuck. And let me put a few more here so you can see how this works. And here we have this summary on how many of the tasks are stuck, done, or in progress. If what you see on the screen does not provide you all the information that you need, then you can select more columns. You just click on the add column here, and you have a lot of other options as well. For example, I can add time tracking. Just keep in mind that some of these columns are only available in the pro version of Monday.com. So if you're only using the basic version, you're not going to be able to use them. However, the trial that we are currently using is going to allow you to use absolutely everything. So let's click on the time tracking. The great thing about time tracking is that this can actually be used in order to track how much time you spent on this activity. So let's say I start working on the mockup and I want to track how much time I spent. I can track it using the time tracking column. So just click on this and it's going to start counting seconds, minutes, and hours that I spent on this activity. And you can then continue working on the mockup, and once you finish with this task, you stop it. And then perhaps you start working on the requirements gathering. You can start it and pause it, and etc. Let's explore some more. So you can add numbers here as well. So let's say that, for example, I don't want to do the time tracking, but I just want to estimate how long it's going to take me. I can just select the number. Then I can say estimated workload. And I just can say this is going to take me 5 hours. This is going to take 3 hours. This is going to take, for example, 40 hours, and etc. So you can actually put a column and then edit the title and then use it for your use case. You can also put dependencies if you want using this one. So you add the dependency column, and for example, the proof of the business case is going to be dependent on the creation of the business case. So from here, when you click on the dependency column, you can just select what this is dependent on. Then the requirements gathering is going to be dependent on the proof of the business case. A proof of requirement is going to be dependent on requirements gathering, and so on. Then let's explore some more. Then you can also have timeline, and you can put a range of dates. So for example, let's say I start working on the creation of the business case today, and I aim to finalize it on Wednesday next week. Then the timeline is 6 days, and it's from the 25th of September to to 30th of September. And you're going to see that here we have this summary on how long this group's tasks gonna take, and at the moment it's 25th to 30th. Then if then the approval of the business case is gonna take one more week, so for example from the 30th to the 7th, then this is gonna increase to 13 days, because this is how many days there are between the 25th to the 7th of October. The next thing that we will do now is to assign the due dates for all the tasks. So let's quickly assign some dates on these tasks so we can use them in later lessons. Okay, so this is gonna be, for example, 3rd. Then let me move this to October. I'm just gonna assign them all, and I'll be back in 1 second, so I don't waste your time. Okay, so I've assigned the due date. At the moment, I don't want to be tracking the time tracking this way. Also, what I'm gonna do is I'll delete this column for now. And I'll also delete the timeline column just to make things a bit more clean. What we're gonna do in a later session is we're gonna explore the more advanced options when it comes to columns. So we're gonna be looking at the formulas, how we can use that, and we also gonna be looking at some other columns that we have available to use here. But for now, these are the basics of how you use columns in Monday.com. And it's quite simple. I would suggest you, before we proceed to the next lesson, go on and at least assign the due dates for the tasks. And if you want, you can also assign the information about all the other items here, if you want to spend the time. And I will see you in the next lesson.